Hey, what's up guys, my name is Garrett Blackwood, welcome back to the vlog. Very quick introduction before we get into today's session, which is sick by the way, 5, 10, 20, lots of crazy pots, really fun session ahead. We did a giveaway in the last episode and it was won in the second guess, so congratulations to Adam for winning. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter, you can send me a message there and I'll send you your $100. I had a bit of an editing mishap. I edited this video before the last one, so there is another giveaway in this video. It's too difficult to take it out and re-chop up all the videos and stuff, so I'm just going to run another giveaway. $100 if you can guess my hand, whole cards and all, in the giveaway hand in this session. On to today's session, like I say, absolutely sick. Lots of big names in the field today. Playing 5, 10, 20, let's check it out. So we get the game started 5-handed, and being the degens that we are, we start with a PLO double board bomb pot hand. I pick up a pretty good Badoogie hand, but not what you want for a PLO hand. I don't even flop a pair and end up just folding on the flop, which I guess is a nice change from constantly getting 3/4 all the time in these hands. The game starts a little slow overall, and onto our first hold'em hand of the day. We be straddling today, and I am in the straddle for this hand. I pick up a very playable pair of 5s. It folds round to the big blind, stream legend Dentist Dave. He makes it $60 to go. I of course make the call to the flop. It is King 9-5 Rainbow. Just like last episode, I flopped the set in the very first hand. Let's see how the big blind is going to find a way to chop this one with me. He bets $40. Raising here is of course fine, but I decide to just call this time. Let him blast off if he desires on future straights. The turn card is a king. I've now got bottom boat. Absolutely loving this spot, and even more so when he keeps betting. He fires $115. Now if we raise here, we could potentially lose our customer, but if we just call, we can't play for stacks by the river, which our hand obviously wants to do. So I think the risk is very much worth the reward. I pop it on up here to $350. Unfortunately, the big blind does not have a king, or maybe he does and he just made a really sick fold. Either way, he's out of there and I'm dragging in this pot. A little disappointed that he didn't continue on the turn. On to the next hand. The game is filled up now. We've got YouTube Guru Rob Kuhn in the game, along with Max Payne Monday Legend DK, along with Stream Legend Dentist Dave. It's a pretty sick game today, and the next hand is going to involve all 4 of us. Dentist Dave makes it 60 to go in the hijack. I am on the button with a couple of deuces and make the call. DK comes along from the big blind, as does Rob from the straddle. We're 4 ways to the flop. Can we flop 2 out of 2 sets today? Yes, we can. It is King 10 deuce with 2 diamonds. Bottom set on a wet board, in position 4 ways. Can it get any better than this? Apparently it can. The big blind is going to lead out here for $230. The straddle then makes the call, and just when I think I'm about to explode in my britches, the hijack then moves all in. Alright guys, I'll see you at showdown. I rejam. The big blind then calls. This is insane. What a ridiculous spot this is. We've got a 3-way all in and there's a 4th player still to act. The straddle is deep in the tank. While he's thinking, he turns over 9-8 of diamonds. Eventually he says that his diamonds might be dominated and lays down his hand. Kinda happy to see that, to be honest. We put the cards on their backs. The big blind has got King 5 for top pair and the hijack has got King 10 for top 2. Running at once for this huge pot. Over to you, dealer.
I know all of them. Oh no, watch the 7 come. Wow.
You nits.
Oh, if I knew now.
Not even a sweat. A very clean turn and river. I am off to a fantastic start here today, dragging in this pot worth around $5,000. We've got a very fun game. A lot of these guys are playing on the stream later tonight and they're just having a bit of fun here before it starts. Next up, Rob is in the double straddle to $40. I've got 9-8 of clubs in the small blind. Easy raise here. I make it 110 to go. The $20 straddle calls, as does Rob. We're 3 ways to the flop. It is Queen 9-3 with 2 diamonds. I'm going to check here, as does the 20, and the double straddle takes a stab for $200. I don't love it, especially with a player behind still to act, but I ain't folding just yet. I make the call and we go heads up to the turn. It's an offsuit 6. I check and the double straddle takes a few seconds before starting to reach for chips. I'm getting ready to fold as soon as he bets when suddenly he changes his mind and quickly checks. The offsuit 5 river rolls off, we both check and I beat his 10-7 of diamonds. He tells me that he decided not to bluff the river because of his massive tell that he gave off on the turn when he went to bet and chickened out. I tell him it was indeed a bit of a tell and I was not going to fold the river. We've got a good table today. I'm running well. Life is good here in Los Angeles. Next up, I'm in the small blind with ace queen offsuit. The button is open to $60. Clear 3-bet spot for me. I make it $230 to go. The big blind then cold calls. The button gets out of the way and we go heads up to ace king 3 with 2 diamonds. A great flop here for me. I've got top pair, top kicker, but I decide to get a little sneaky. I check and the big blind takes a stab. He bets $230. For the same reason I checked on the flop, I don't check raise, I just call. The turn is the 6 of clubs, 2 flush draws on board now. So now when the big blind bets $330, I decide that's enough slow playing. I bust out the check jam and move all in. The big blind does not snap fold, but he doesn't snap call either. I'm well aware of his love for slow rolling people, so I am a little suspicious of what's going on. But after a minute, he makes the call. I turn over my hand and ask if he wants to go once or twice. He says twice, and he turns over king 4 of spades for second pair. He clearly put me on a big draw. Over to you, dealer. Not gonna lie, that king on the second river felt like a dagger through the heart. One card away from another huge pot, but alas, we're gonna chop this one up. 20 minutes later and we have a raise under the gun to $100 from the same player. I'm in the small blind with king jack of clubs. Don't want to re-raise versus this huge open, but definitely don't want to fold either. So I make the call. The big blind is in there as well. We go 3 ways to the flop and it's another belter for us. It is king jack 5. We check to the original raiser who bets $200. I decide to min raise here to 400, which I really don't like in hindsight. He's only got 800 behind, and we want to keep in the big blind's hands like king 8 suited. So I think just calling is the play here. The big blind folds and under the gun shoves it in for 1k total. I of course call. He's got king 10 offsuit running very slim here versus my top 2 pair, and he is dead on the turn. A little revenge for me after that suck out in the last hand. The money always comes to Gazzy in the end. The action is thick and fast today, and just 5 minutes later I'm in the cutoff with ace 10 of spades. I make it 50 to go. The small blind then re-raises to $205. He's got about $1,000 to start the hand, so we're 50 big blinds effective with the straddle. Not that deep, and on top of that the small blind is a very, very tight player. I gotta tell you guys, I genuinely came very close to just folding this. It's just not a great spot here, 50 big blinds deep versus a super tight player, but in the end I decide that my hand is just too pretty. I make the call and we see a flop. About as good as can be without making a pair. It is queen jack 5 with 2 spades. No royal draw for me, but it's still a lovely combo draw, and when he bets $350 I have no other option but to just go with it. I put him all in for a few $100 more. He snap calls as expected, and we agree to go twice. It all happens super fast and the footage is a bit blurry as a result, but he's got king 10 offsuit. I really wasn't expecting that. He'd been playing so tight all day. I guess he just decided it was his time. The footage is hella blurry, but you guys can rest in the knowledge that for the second time in 2 episodes, I got it in with ace high, ran it twice, and held twice versus worse hands. The game has been great for the first 2 hours today, super swingy, but I've been on the right side of variance and I am absolutely loving it. Unfortunately, however, the game is now about to absolutely die. We've gone from 8-handed double straddling with multiple all-ins to 4-handed 5-5-10 with players min-raising when they open. This is live poker in a nutshell these days. When it's good, it can be very good, but when it's bad, it can be very, very bad. It's a miracle the game doesn't break, and after 2 hours of complete nitfest poker, we start to fill back up again. After the torture of the last few hours, I decide to absolutely YOLO on an $80 triple straddle. I'm also on the button here, so there's a bit of an edge to be had. The small blind calls, the 40 completes, and I check with my king 7 offsuits. 3 ways to 5, 4-4 with 2 clubs. It checks to me, and I take a stab here for $140. The small blind folds, and then the 40 then says that's the kind of board you would hit if you were in the triple straddle, and then calls. Okay buddy. To the turn we go. It's a flush completing jack. He checks, as do I. The river is a 4 flush 6, and the $40 straddle then bets $500. Even though I've got the second nut flush, something tells me that I am behind here given his comment on the flop and his big bet size on the river. So I think for a minute before making the fold, and Kel surprise, he then turns over 5-4 suited for the flop full house. Kinda had a feeling he was strong after he said that on the flop. So we're now playing 5-10-20 instead of 5-5-10 or 5-5-10-20. Next up, there have been 4 limps. I pick up ace queen of diamonds and make it $140 to go. The early position limper then jams for $650. It folds to me. I of course make the call. We're going to run this one twice.
10s and 7s or something. Oh, there's your queen.
Deuce. Okay, that's what it's out.
Yeah, I'd never win that.
I told you 2 pairs. Oh, there's your deuce.
Right, wait. Yeah, ready. Diamond.
Oh,
no! One more. Why you gotta do that?
Ah. We're going to chop this one up, which seems kind of fair to me, to be honest. Moving on to the next hand, and I pick up a couple of J-boys in the hijack. I'm going to put them to work here. I get 4 callers. We're going 5 ways to the flop. It is King Jack 5 Rainbow. How many sets is that today? Easy c-bet here, 5 ways with second set. Surely somebody's got a king or better. I bet $180, and imagine my disappointment when somehow, some way, all 4 players fold. How is that even possible? Somewhat anticlimactic to flop a set 5 ways, but hey ho. Next up is such a ridiculous hand, but definitely worth including in the vlog. The hijack and cutoff have both limped. I'm on the button with ace 6 of hearts. Raising here is of course fine, but I decide to over limp. The big blind calls as well, and then the straddle pops it to $220. The hijack makes the call, and after the cutoff gets out the way, I decide to call as well. The big blind comes along for the ride, around 1k in the middle, and we see a flop of ace jack 5 with 1 heart. Pretty good start for me here, but when it checks to the hijack, he decides that it's time to play for it all. He shoves for $3,500. Both myself and the straddle cover him, so this is a ginormous shove. I do think about it for a second, but I think this would be a bit of a punt, so I decide to just let it go. When everyone else folds, he shows us that he had ace 5. Good fold from me. We rabbit hunt the turn and the river. The turn was a jack. What a bad fold. I should have... Oh wait, never mind. The river was a 5. Back to being a good fold again. On to the final hand of the session, and it is giveaway time. Remember, you must be subbed to the channel to win, so go ahead and click that sub button now. All you got to do is guess my hand in the comments below. We're back to 5-5-10. I'm in early position and open it up. MP makes the call, as does the big blind. We're 3 ways to the flop here. It is Queen Jack 4 with 2 hearts. I'm going to c-bet here. I throw out $75. Only the middle position player sticks around. We go heads up to the turn. It's an offsuit 9. I decide against firing a second barrel and instead check. Middle position then takes a stab, and it's a pretty big one at that. He bets $225. I make the call. We're heads up to the river. It's an offsuit 8. After a few seconds, I decide to lead instead of checking to middle position. He's got $500, so I put him all in for the rest of it. He's not going to make the call. He thinks for a minute and folds, and I end up dragging in the pot. Was I bluffing? Was I value betting? Was it somewhere in between? What do I have? You need to guess both whole cards correctly with suits and everything. Let me know in the comments below. Remember, you must be subbed to the channel, so go ahead and click that sub button now. After this hand, the game once again gets very short and eventually breaks. I rack up and head to the cashier. Really happy to book a win today after several losing sessions in a row. And that, guys and girls, is the end of our episode. I won $3,300, ending the losing streak of 3 or 4 sessions in a row. Really weird day today. The action was insane for the first couple of hours. It really popped off, won a couple of really big pots, ran really well, and then the game got super short, super tight, super nitty. 4-handed 5-10 with people raising to $20 is not what we came to LA for. But then the game got full, and then I don't know where it broke again. I'm really happy with how I played today, which again is the main thing. The results essentially don't matter as long as we keep showing up, putting the hours in, and playing as well as we can. That's all that matters. So until next time, take it easy.